Welcome back to Guess What Day It Is. Today, we're going to take a peek inside my box. Welcome back to the channel. So we have in front of us today a very cool thing. So this is a toolkit. So found this with my dad's stuff. I don't think it's something that he had when he was a working technician. There's a couple things that after doing some research, I think this was actually a field technician's kit from a company called Adage. So there's a couple things that kind of bring that to our attention. First of all, there is a Adage sticker up here, and there's a in the bottom, which you can't see, there's a tag with the serial number and another one of those Adage stickers in the base. So what I think this was a company issued toolkit for someone who worked for that company. Doing a little research, it looks like that Adage was a company that kind of specialized in computer graphics, did a lot of work with IBM. They were bought out in 1989, so the company doesn't exist anymore as it once was, but that's what I think this came from. So it appears to be an Xcelite kit. For those of you that aren't familiar with Xcelite, it's a company that has been a part of electronics for several decades, starting back in the 1930s. They were the first to come up with a plastic handled screwdriver, which of course adds a layer of safety when it comes to working with electronics. Plastic obviously is a very good insulator. They were the first to coin the term nut driver. They weren't the ones that actually came up with the nut driver, but they were well known for their color-coded nut drivers, which I have a couple fixed ones. So each color pertains to a specific size. So you can know it at just a moment's notice which one to grab when you're doing your repair work. So that's pretty cool. They're also known for interchangeable screwdriver bits. So there's two different ones. There is the Series 25, which is this guy. It's got a kind of a hex setup that is reversible. So you can kind of see how that hex is just pressed in there with the bimetal spring. That's right there. That bimetal spring puts tension on the side. You can see where it kind of wears on that hex, keeping it from coming out. Pretty firm. And really what they're best known for is the 99 series. This is a kind of a beat up handle. This kit came with a bunch of handles, which is pretty interesting. So this one appears to be the oldest one in the kit. Let's see if I can find the markings. They're kind of worn away. I don't think you're going to be able to see that. This has the same Xcelite markings as these nut drivers do. You can see the Xcelite is kind of embossed into the handle, and then there's some white paint that goes over it. So that's why with years of use, they tend to just kind of go away. We've got another one. This one is also embossed with the paint. And then this one is a little bit newer. So it appears that the Xcelite is actually molded into the handle, which is pretty interesting. So something that's cool in this kit that I've never seen before is a mid-length. So if we kind of compare that to full-size handle, quite a bit smaller. This kit also comes with a stubby, which I have seen before. So it is right in between. So it's a little thinner than both of those, but it's right in between. So the stubby and the regular ones pretty much have the same outer diameter, but this one is much thinner. So pretty interesting. So like I said, that's the first time I've ever seen that. So there are a absolute ton of different inserts that are available for this Xcelite 99 system. We've got some hex in the kit. We've got a smaller set of the nut drivers. This is an extension, which comes with most of the kits that are out there. So basically, that goes in the screwdriver. You take one of your bits and extend it. So that's pretty cool. There is a longer version of this extension that I have seen as well. Another thing that came in this kit is another handle that is marked Jensen, which I'm not sure if you can see that. It is identical to the Xcelite, same pressed-in insert. It's a little bit different inner diameter, but I don't think that's that meaningful. But what I think this is just a rebranded Xcelite tool that was made for Jensen. Other things that are in here, I've got another, this is a Jensen flat blade. I've got another Xcelite flat blade. Got a melted little Phillips. This thing's got a little tweak to it, so may have to put that in a vise and get that squared up a little bit. A lot of other stuff in here too. We've got a wire stripper. It's adjustable. So basically you take this screw and move it up the slot there to prevent that handle from going too much further one way or the other. So if I wanted it doesn't have any gauge sizes on it, but you can easily just move it up, which makes the hole bigger so you don't take off more material. We've got a amp super champ crimper and stripper, and then there is a pair of needle nose. I have no idea where these came from. I'm not sure. There's no name on them. I think if this was Xcelite, it would not have the wire cutter, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's not marked anywhere. That if it was marked on the handle, that's long worn away. So what else do we have in here? We've got a Klaus fiber optic stripper. So this is kind of a unique thing. I've never seen this before. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's, from what I understand, specifically designed for fiber optic use. Then if I can get it out, I've got another wire stripper. So this one is made by a company called Wall. So and it's kind of a unique system where instead of moving the screw like this one, you can just basically dial your wire gauge in, and that prevents the tool from going too much further, keeping a nice hole in there for your wire stripping. So much better than that guy, but also very cool. So we've got a self-holding screwdriver. So this is designed with a screwdriver blade that is kind of cut in half. I'm not sure if you can see that very well, but the sleeve basically shows those two halves together, expanding it into the screw to hold it. So if you're trying to get a screw into a blind hole, instead of having a magnetized screwdriver, this would work as well. Magnetized things are not always good when it comes to doing electronics, especially for older stuff. What else do we have here? I don't think I saw that in there. It appears to be maybe a depinning tool of some sort. We've got a bunch of plastic alignment tools for tuner alignments. So I think this is something my dad put in there. You don't want to use a ferrous material when you're doing tuner alignments. You want to have something plastic to make those adjustments. Got a toothbrush. I think that's something my dad put in there. Oh wait, there's more stuff. We're learning. Look in there. Little punch. That's handy. We're going to put that somewhere else. Nice little pocket mirror. Great for dental work or, you know, working on stuff. So let's see what's in the top. We've got extension cords. So nothing crazy or spectacular. I'm not sure what this one is. That appears to be a special kind of connector, but this is a just a switched extension cord. It appears to be newer, so it's probably something my dad added. It's actually got a fuse in it. That's pretty. That's obviously for Christmas lights. So, hey, if it works, it works. So let's go on the bottom side. Let's see what we've got in there. Ooh. Oh, I forgot two things up here too. Got a crescent wrench of Chinese origin. Nothing special. And then this guy is pretty cool. This is a little ratcheting screwdriver. So little thin thing. There are literally 8 teeth. 8 teeth. So you're obviously not really going to get a fine swing on that. It is reversible, which is pretty awesome. Compare that to a 72 tooth or a 90 tooth ratcheting screwdriver of today. It's pretty different. In the bottom, we got a digital or a voltometer. Obviously not digital. My dad had probably 50 meters. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he had a metric ton of meters. So, and this is a little portable one, which goes with some test leads that are in here. There's kind of a bunch of junk in here. So got our 2 test leads. We have a Weller soldering iron. This is something that was the backbone of my dad's tool arsenal. There are probably 15 soldering irons scattered across my parents' house. So that's one reason why I still use Weller personally. I have a Weller soldering iron that you've seen on the channel as we've gone through some of the electrical stuff. So put that aside. One thing, there's always a ball of solder and on the cord of all of my dad's soldering irons. Glasses, because you couldn't see nothing. And this is pretty cool too. This is a Xcelite mini nut driver set with a torque amplifier. So all of these are color-coded nut drivers, just on a smaller scale. And then what you can do is with the torque amplifier is just put these little guys in there and you've got a much better handle to grab onto. If this looks familiar, it is the same size as the little mid-size 99 series holder as well. So pretty cool. Complete set. And the case is a little flimsy, but it's got storage in the top for the amplifier. Normally it stays in there. Most of the time when I open this, it pops out. So I don't know if it's, it is what it is. Got some jumper leads. I have a pair of tweezers, which has obviously been re-engineered for something. I don't think there's too many people, at least in the automotive industry, that haven't taken some sort of a tool and modified it for use. That's why it's good to have some cheap tools around, so you can, put a bend in it or do whatever you want to get a job done. So it's always a good thing. So we have a load of capacitors and all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you what, we'll take you in there. Lots of stuff. I think this is kind of just random stuff he had. I don't know what's in there. Some kind of adjustment pot. We've got a bunch of capacitors. Got to have mechanics wire. Little coaxial adapter, which actually that's kind of handy. Just a bunch of stuff. This is kind of how my dad's toolbox or tool bench is. It's just full of stuff. I do things a lot differently. My tool bench is, for the most part, organized. As you can see, everything's got a place. Sometimes we do things because our parents or we were influenced to it, and sometimes we don't do things because of the way our parents did it. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of a window into what my dad did. There's a lot of heatsink paste in here too, which is heatsink compound. We're still using that when we seat CPUs and all that kind of stuff. Anything that makes contact with a heatsink, they need to make sure that heat is transferred well. That's something that is it's been around for a little bit, so pretty interesting. So that's what's in the case. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Guess What Day It Is. I hope I didn't bore the crap out of you. I really enjoy tools, if you can't tell, especially the Xcelite stuff. That's really, like I've said in videos in the past, that specific orange screwdriver is what got me hooked on tools. So maybe in the future, I was looking at the soldering iron that's in that kit. There's a pretty significant difference between that and one that I bought about 10 years ago. So there's a big difference in weight, just feel and quality. So maybe we'll take time to do a short video on the differences between those two soldering irons. And who knows, I might be able to find a even older one as we continue to go through my parents' stuff. So next couple weeks, my son and I are just about ready to get our booth going at our local antique shop. So we're pretty excited about that. So I would imagine the next couple videos may be featuring some of that stuff going forward. So I'm excited. I think he's excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this stuff does. We've got quite a wide variety of things. Some of the things you've seen on the channel, the Pioneer 680 stereo and the Sony speakers are going there. One of the Ataris. There's a lot of other stuff that I have just in my own personal collection, because I kind of collect stuff too. So it's going to be pretty good. And we've got a trailer full of stuff that we brought home too that we're going to have to go through as well. So hopefully we can turn this into a nice little side business, and who knows where that can go from here. So anyway, thank you again for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. Remember to hit like and subscribe, especially if you want to see those upcoming videos on our new antique booth. And once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Guess What Day It Is.